Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Mayor Bill Sheckles for the city of Bardstown. And we're going to talk about an update on what's going on with Bardstown, a whole lot happening. We were talking before, Bardstown's getting a lot of notoriety nationally as well as locally and everything as well, with a lot of stuff going on. Last year being the best small town in America.
Let's get it right. The most beautiful
small town in America. But it's also the best.
That too. That too.
Most beautiful small town in America. But a lot of stuff happening. So I want to give a little update on stuff because some other recognitions have been going on as well. One of them being that Mayor Sheckles was elected to the vice presidency of the Kentucky League of Cities.
Yes, that was a pretty good honor for me and also the city of Bardstown to be recognized by your peers, to be elected as the first vice president of 320 cities across the Commonwealth. That a lot of people don't know what the Kentucky League of Cities do, but they're the legislative branch of for cities. We work on a legislative agenda that helps work on issues that help cities with their revenues, and also work with lobby against legislation that's not beneficial to cities. So and also they provide insurance services, legal advice, a lot of training programs for cities that help with keep the workers' compensation rates down and things of this nature. It's a very valuable asset to be a part of, and also to stay on top of things. I kind of look at it as I've been pretty actively involved with this since I've been involved in politics here in Bardstown, but look at it as kind of like a continuing education program to stay on top of what's going on around the Commonwealth, so I can help bring some of these ideas back to Bardstown and implement them here in our town.
So when was this? When did this happen?
This happened the first week in October.
Okay, so
at our annual conference.
Brand new
in Covington. Yeah. Well, I've been involved with the leadership role with them for a little bit, so it's on their executive board, and last year was second vice president. So it's been a good learning experience, and it keeps me abreast of what's going on around the state, and keeps me at the cutting edge, so I can keep Bardstown on the cutting edge.
There you go. So what are the Kentucky League of City members saying are some of the issues for cities in our state, and what are you seeing some of them in Bardstown itself?
Well, we're going to present our legislative agenda to the General Assembly Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Some of the major issues are the reclassification of cities. A lot of cities are not classified correctly according to population. There's some issue on if the restaurant tax could be applied to all different classifications of cities. And one of the new things that are on the agenda is possible they're looking into a local option sales tax that will allow cities, if there's a certain type of project that cities or communities would like to take on, then we're not getting a lot of money from federal governments or state governments along those lines. So if there's a certain type of project that the local people think they would like to see done, they can put it on the ballot. They can vote to have it on the ballot, and also vote to add another 1 cent to the sales tax and fund that project.
So for instance, if the city of Bardstown wanted to possibly fund a gaming facility for kids, something of that nature, and they felt that you could put it onto the ballot for the residents of the city to vote as to whether a local tax would be applied for that.
Yeah.
Or whatever it be.
Well, it's really the best way of a democratic process, because if there's certain issues that or projects that the local citizens feel like that they want to be a part of, whether it be like I know you hear a lot of talk here in Bardstown and Nelson County about a indoor YMCA type facility, or like you said, a funding program for kids, or whatever the project may be. It may be several projects that they may put on the agenda, and they figure out how much they're going to cost, how long they figure to pay for it, and then put that amount of tax on all the sellable goods. And at the end of the term, when this project is finished and paid off, the tax goes away. So it's truly a tax for the people.
I know Mayor Greg Fisher, I've heard him speak about really liking the idea for that tax. Would it apply to, and that's obviously the largest city in Kentucky, would that apply to all sizes cities, potentially to have this local option?
Right, he's been the one championing this movement towards that. There's a lot of different projects that they want to do in Louisville, but it could apply to all classifications.
So Bardstown still could?
Yeah, so they just tax the sales tax on all purchase items and for a certain period of time.
So when we talk about the classification of cities, and you're saying that's something we might want to talk about, we're talking mostly about population. Is that correct? Is that how cities are classified, or are there other factors?
That's how they should be classified.
Okay.
But all cities are not classified that. That's most cities would like to be a fourth class city, because the fourth class cities are the one class of cities that can impose a registering tax. Mm-hmm. First, second, and third class cities are not eligible for that.
Okay.
So,
what's Bardstown?
We're a fourth class city.
Fourth class city.
So a lot of people have jockeyed around with their classification and somehow managed to get into fourth class cities that they're really not. But that fourth class city funds that restaurant tax, it all goes to tourism.
Right.
So one of the things they want to do is that that'll be available to all classifications of cities, and then let that at least 1/4 of the sales tax that's collected go towards the tourism commission, at least 1/4, and the other money can be used, 75% or less, could be used for quality of life issues.
Okay.
So that's, but it hadn't been able to get through the General Assembly yet, so we'll see how that comes about.
So how long is this term with the Kentucky League of Cities?
It's a 1-year term. It's aggressive, so next year, if everything goes according to plan, I'll be president of the Kentucky League of Cities. So we'll see.
That's right. Well, now do you have to be in government, local government, in order to have that happen? Because
I have to be an elected official.
Okay, have to be an elected official. And next year is when you'll be up for election again if you choose to run again, right?
That's correct.
And any word on whether you want to run next year? Have you decided?
Do you know how many times I get asked that question?
And what's your answer usually?
I haven't decided yet.
haven't decided. But, you have until the end of January, I think it is, or something like that, right?
I have until the end of January to decide.
Are you happy with how things have gone so far in the 3 years so far?
Yes, things have worked out pretty well. I think me being the mayor of Bardstown and my knowledge of the city and its residents and the experience I've had after being 12 years on the city council have kind of prepared me for this. It's been a pretty good fit for me and for the city, actually.
So how would you classify the difference between being mayor and being a city council member?
Well, sometimes the council members or people in the general public don't realize there's two distinct roles of a mayor and a council person. As a council person, you're mainly responsible for approving ordinances and approving budgets that the mayor, and in the mayor council form of government, the mayor is the chief executive officer, and he dictates what goes on with the day-to-day operation of the city. He prepares the budget that he submits to the council and with their approval, and he's just he runs the city. So the day-to-day operations of the city are solely the responsibility of the mayor.
Now, it's a hourly, it's a part-time position, correct, as mayor?
This mayor's position in Bardstown is technically a part-time position that's 24/7. Yeah,
exactly. Do you think there's ever an opportunity for it to go to a full-time position?
Probably soon. That Bardstown's got to the point now where it's almost probably going to need a full-time mayor. I don't know if it'll be in my term or not, but I'd say soon. We've grown so much, and we've almost doubled our population since I've been involved in city government. And there's a lot of things that go on a day-to-day basis that need my Attention, yeah. So, but you know, in the other job that I have at the car dealership, I have the flexibility of coming and going and doing things like this interview here with you.
Right.
But
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. But also, you know, operating with the day-to-day operation of the city also. So.
Right.
But knowing the city and knowing the personnel and knowing my staff, that we have a good working relationship. So.
Now, is there anything that governs whether you could make it a full-time, or is it strictly a matter of budgeting with the city? Is it the city's decision whether it's full-time, part-time, or what have you?
Well, it's a budgeted item. Salaries are budgeted items, but it could be it could be made into a full-time position.
But it's just the decision of the city.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to. There's nothing governing it anyway with the state or what have you.
No. Well, they do have a formula that allows you can only make so much money if it's a certain classification of city.
Right.
So, but anyway, that has to be approved by. You have to if that position changes or pay scales change for council people or mayors, they have to be done before the primary election.
So we'll wait and see what happens. Right. And
we'll wait and see.
I wonder, would it have to be then? Couldn't it be in the middle of your term? Like you couldn't go like the first 2 years part-time, transition to full-time for the second 2 years?
It would have to be before you would have to, if you make a decision on changing council people's pay or mayor's pay, it has to be done before the upcoming election.
Yeah. And so it's for that whole 4-year term.
Right. 4-year term or 2-year term, whatever the situation might be.